You know, what is it that makes a live show, a concert, truly unforgettable? It's not always the sold-out arenas or, all the pyrotechnics. Sometimes the most legendary shows they happen when you least expect them, in the most unlikely of places. So just take a second and think about it. What's the best concert you've ever seen? The one that's just locked in your memory forever? Well, for the person at the center of our story today, he thought he had his answer set in stone for years.
And this is where our story gets really interesting. We're looking at a showdown between two completely different experiences. On one side, you've got a legendary band at the absolute peak of their power. On the other, a complete unknown, playing to an almost empty room. So, which one wins? Well, the answer might actually surprise you.
So first, let's meet the reigning champion. For years, this one single show stood all by itself as the undisputed greatest concert of his life. Period. Okay, so the year is 1993. A friend introduces him to the Smashing Pumpkins, and he ends up going to see them on their iconic Siamese Dream tour. The show absolutely blows his mind and just sets this incredibly high bar for every concert he would ever see again.
And that's the feeling. Right there. He called it a God moment. It was so powerful, so definitive, that for him it seemed completely unbeatable. The #1 spot was taken, permanently. Or so he thought.
Now enter the challenger, a band that stumbled into his life completely by accident. This wasn't some planned pilgrimage to see a favorite group. No, this was just a random night out that would end up changing everything. He was actually at this small club in Philly to see the Spin Doctors. But before they came on, an opening act took the stage. He had no idea who they were, but from the moment they started playing, he was just completely floored.
And this was his immediate, unfiltered reaction. Just sheer awe. See, he was a drummer himself, so he just could not believe the level of talent he was witnessing from this band he'd never even heard of.
After their set, they were handing out these little yellow cards with their name on it, and that's how he learned who they were, a group called the Dave Matthews Band, a name that, at that moment, meant absolutely nothing to him or anyone else there. And here's where fate throws a massive curveball. I mean, the story could have ended right there, but an unbelievable coincidence sets up the real main event. So he gets back home, still buzzing from the show, and he's telling his bandmates about this incredible opening act. And in a 1 in a million twist, his friend who books shows for his band says, "Dude, they're coming back through town on Monday, and you guys are opening for them." Unbelievable, right? The excitement is just through the roof. But then Monday comes, and with it, a phone call. The show had sold a grand total of 50 tickets. Just 50, in a club that's meant to hold hundreds. The show is a complete bust. Nobody knows who the Dave Matthews Band is, and so nobody's coming. The gig is off. Just like that, the opportunity to play with them and see them again is gone. But this is the crucial turning point in the story. Faced with a canceled show and a totally empty venue, they have a choice to make. Do they just stay home, or do they go anyway? His reaction was instant. He had to see this band again, even if no one else did. He tells his friends, "We are absolutely going." And that defiant decision is what turned a failed gig into a legendary experience. So they get to the club, and it's practically deserted. He walks right up to the stage, no crowd to fight through at all, and just stands there, front and center, with maybe 50 other people scattered around a room that was, in his words, empty as shit. And as the band starts to play, he's just standing there with his arms crossed, thinking this exact thing to himself. He's watching this virtuosic, high-energy performance delivered with the power of an arena show, but for an audience that could barely fill a living room. It was just completely surreal. The intimacy of the show was just off the charts. I mean, after they played this mind-blowing cover of All Along the Watchtower, he was so close he could literally just shout up to Dave Matthews on stage. And that's exactly what he yelled. Not after the show, but during it, right there in the pause between songs. And Dave just looked down at him and said, "Thanks, man." It was a real personal connection, made possible only because that room was so empty. So why did this disastrously attended show end up dethroning the God moment of the Smashing Pumpkins concert? Well, the answer has everything to do with timing. Because just 1 year later, this happened. The Dave Matthews Band became one of the biggest bands in the world. Suddenly, that little yellow card was a relic, and that empty club, it was a memory of something that would never, ever happen again. See, he had experienced what we can call a Genesis moment, that magical lightning-in-a-bottle opportunity to see raw, world-changing talent up close. before the hype, before the stadiums, before everyone else even knew who they were. And that brings us right back to the core question of this entire story. The Smashing Pumpkins show was epic, a perfect performance for thousands of adoring fans. But can that shared spectacle ever truly compete with the secret magic of being one of only 50 people in a room to witness the birth of a legend? Ultimately, this story is just a powerful reminder that the biggest legends aren't always born on the biggest stages. Sometimes the most unforgettable moments, the true God moments, happen in these near-empty rooms on a random Monday night, just before the rest of the world finds out.